welcome you all watching In Your Interest here on News9. I am Krishna Kumar, and tonight we begin with a story that has shaken the entire country. What began as a Saturday night party in Goa ended up being one of the worst nightclub fire tragedies in India in years. That's right, we are talking about the fire that killed 25 people, 20 staff members and 5 young tourists were now among the dead. Most of them died not from burns, but from suffocation inside a place that was never meant to be open. They did not die in an accident. They died because rules were ignored, warnings were dismissed, and people in power looked the other way. The club is called Birch by Romeo Lane, located in Arpora in North Goa. Electrical firecrackers were being set off inside this club. Yes, you heard that right, firecrackers inside an enclosed space inside a club with flammable wooden panels lining the walls. Inside a venue with plastic decorations hanging from the ceiling. The fire started quickly and it spread even faster. When people realized what was happening, panic had taken over already. Everyone rushed towards the exit, but here's the problem. There was exactly one exit, a narrow exit. One way in, one way out. People were trapped. The basement and ground floors had obstructions blocking their escape. 25 people died, ladies and gentlemen, and most of them from suffocation and asphyxiation. They died gasping for air in a place that should have never been allowed to operate in the first place. Here's what makes this even more painful. This tragedy was predicted. That's right. It was warned about. It could have been prevented. In December 2023, local residents had filed a complaint and they said that this club was built illegally on a submerged salt pan. They had warned that it was built inside a water body and that it could cause a major tragedy. Those were their exact words, can you believe it? A major tragedy. And guess what? They ended up sadly being right. In April 2024, the village panchayat declared the club illegal. A demolition order was issued even. The building was supposed to be torn down, but the owner ended up getting a stay order on it. The demolition never happened. The club just kept running. People kept partying in it. Let's now walk through that Birch nightclub and what exactly it did not have. And I want you to listen carefully because this list is going to be quite shocking. No fire alarm systems. No sprinkler systems. No smoke ventilation systems. No emergency exit points. No illuminated exit signage. No emergency lighting whatsoever. No trained fire wardens. No emergency evacuation plan and no permit for using fireworks inside this venue. This was not a club. This was a death trap with a dance floor. Now let's talk about permissions. Let's talk about the licenses and clearances that every establishment needs to operate legally and safely. Fire safety NOC or no objection certificate from the fire department, not obtained. Construction license from the revenue or panchayat authorities, well, the club was built without authorization. Pollution control NOC from the Goa State Pollution Control Board, not obtained. Trade license from the village panchayat, issued improperly. Alcohol license from the excise department, not obtained. Entertainment license, well, that would have covered the use of firecrackers at least. That too was not obtained. On paper, this club was illegal. On ground, it was open for business gloriously. How does a place operate without a single valid permission and nobody stops it? The answer is simple and it's disturbing. Either the authorities did not care at all or they were complicit. Either way, they failed completely. 5 arrests have been made so far. 4 staff members and 1 manager are in custody, but the owners themselves, Saurabh and Gaurav Luthra, are on the run, absconding. An FIR has been filed against them. Arrest warrants have been issued. And from hiding, Saurabh Luthra issues a statement expressing grief. Grief. The man whose club killed 25 people is expressing grief from hiding instead of facing the consequences. And that too, he's doing that on Instagram. 2 more properties owned by their hospitality group have now been sealed in Goa. The Chief Minister has ordered a magisterial probe. But here's the real question. Why now? Why only after people are dead already?
शनिवार को गोवा के अरपोरा स्थित बर्च बाय रोमियो लेन में भीषण आग लग गई थी, जिसमें 25 लोगों की मौत हो गई। पुलिस अब इस पूरे मामले में इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर रही है। 4 लोगों को गोवा से पुलिस ने गिरफ्तार किया जो इस नाइट क्लब के मैनेजमेंट से जुड़े हुए थे, लेकिन अब पुलिस को तलाश है इस रोमियो बर्च बाय लेन के मालिक सौरभ लूथरा और उनके भाई गौरव लूथरा की। ये दिल्ली का जीटीबी नगर का उनका मकान है। इसी मकान में सौरभ और उनके भाई गौरव यहां पर रहते थे और दिल्ली से ही उन्होंने अपने नाइट क्लब बर्च बाय रोमियो लेन की शुरुआत की। पहला जो नाइट क्लब है वो सिविल लाइंस में है, जिसके बाद इन्होंने लखनऊ, मेरठ के अलावा गोवा में भी खोला और यहीं से इन्होंने तरक्की की जो इबारत थी वो लिखनी शुरू की। आपके सामने बेहद आलीशान घर है, 5 मंजिला इमारत है, करोड़ों रुपए की एक कीमत का बना हुआ घर है, लेकिन यहां पर सौरभ लूथरा और उनके भाई गौरव लूथरा फिलहाल नहीं है।
Charges apply not only to club owners but also to officials and lawmakers who cleared or ignored safety violations. How many illegal, unsafe clubs across India are ticking time bombs right now? Will this tragedy at least finally force real nightlife safety reform or just fade into routine outrage? Those are the big questions we're asking here on In Your Interest tonight. And to get some answers, we have Sandesh Prabhu Desai, author and senior journalist, joining us live from Goa. We have Serafino Kota, former president, Small and Medium Hotels Association of Goa. There's Subhash Goyal, chairman, Travel and Tourism Committee, Indian Chamber of Commerce, and Dilip Cherian, founder, Perfect Relations and Image Group, joining us. Thank you all of you for taking time out to be with us. I'm going to begin by asking Mr. Sandesh Prabhu Desai a simple, straightforward question. Goa is the place people go. This is the season time. This is the best time possible. And here you have a tragedy that is staring at us and asking us questions. How did this come about in a place that is known for nightclubs, in a place where people go to entertain themselves from all across the country, all across the world? How come no norms were followed? How come no permissions were obtained? And yet you had these parties happening night after night after night with firecrackers being burst inside of them. This points to a systemic lacuna that is not recent, Sandesh.
Right, Mr. Krishna Kumar. I am from Goa, and our Remo Fernandez, the pop singer, is also from Goa. उसका एक बहुत famous song है, प्यार तो होना ही था. Let me just change it a bit and say that ये तो होना ही था. Nothing surprising about this. And like the way you have investigated the whole thing, where not a single permission has been obtained. It is just not a question of fire, but nothing. In Goa, we have a regional plan in place, I mean on paper, where basically you just can't construct anything on a salt pan. Okay, in a salt pan, where such a huge construction has come up and everybody sees it, no action is being taken. So it is just not one. This is, I mean, authorities, basically government is trying to isolate this issue as one exceptional issue and showing it is an accident. I would say this is not an accident. Accident kab hota hai? Accident takes place when everything is being taken care of and still there is some fault somewhere.
This is murder.
Accident takes.
Sandesh, the crudest and in fact, if you ask me, the right way of putting it is this is nothing but murder. That was,
I would say, I would call it a blood-stained conspiracy which is being hatched, and not only in case of this nightclub, but all kind of tourism projects which are there. Now government has issued an advisory for all the structures that you have to do this, that,
Right.
all those things. But finally, who? I mean, the officers will go to whom? To go to those firms or those hotels or those establishments which are run legally. This was completely, for all practical purposes, an illegal structure.
Yeah.
They won't go there, and something else will happen. So
Yeah.
this kind of illegal structures and illegal tourism has been rampant in Goa.
Okay.
I'm telling you, officially before COVID, the figure was of tourists was something like around 60 lakhs. But when this illegal tourism was exposed by my friend Serafino Kota, who is here, okay, government conducted a fresh survey, and they found that Goa gets 1 crore tourists. Where were these 40 lakhs?
Yeah.
Where they were
Maybe
called
Serafino Kota can
every-
give us some answers, can help us understand.
Yeah, they were-
Serafino Kota,
they were-
this was the situation pre-pandemic. Goa's numbers went up exponentially during the pandemic and post-pandemic.
Yes, Krishna. What has happened when the pandemic happened? Many countries started to airlift their people, and when they were start checking who stays where, there hardly few people were in the registered hotel, and unregistered people were lifted more than the actual tourists. And we agreed, and it was a wrong time for me to attack government, because people were tense and we were uplifting the tourists from Goa to respective countries.
Right.
So that was not a time for me to attack on government, but later on I did it, and the government agency called KPMG met me, and I worked with them for a couple of weeks together, and they came with a figure called 11,600 units are illegal. That's what they found, but many are unfound and untouched. So Goa.
So 11,600 is the official count, and there could be many, many more.
Yeah, like for example, smallest example I can give as per the government record, then not today. Today maybe I do not have a figures today. Eight villas were registered in Goa that day, legally registered on the books, on the Directory of Tourism, 8, and 118 were illegally operating. So about 100% of the villas in Goa are illegal. As of today also, Goa's tourism is about 80% of Goa tourism is illegal. But if you say this often, you can be in trouble. And your channel has given an opportunity to say it. I am saying it. But I don't know how big risk I am taking. I myself don't know.
Okay.
But I just decided to take this and to tell people. Whereas I am ready to help the government. How can we go about it? There is still a time we can do it. But the very sad part is 26 life has gone to come to this point. If nobody dies, nobody talks about it. That's the problem.
Okay. That is the reason why today we're asking the question, why does this conversation only come up after people are dead? 25 of them are dead. Dilip Cherian, what a tragedy that has struck Goa at what a time, and more importantly, what a wake-up call it is. If not now, Mr. Dilip Cherian, then when, this takes me back to the days when the fire tragedy happened in Mumbai, several years ago, many years ago, and since then, that same questions were asked. Do these, pubs and nightclubs and restaurants follow fire safety norms? What are the protocols? What does the law say? A lot seems to be on paper, but a lot doesn't seem to be in terms of action on the ground.
Very true, Krishna. What has happened is that, if you go back past the Bombay tragedy to the Upahar cinema tragedy, it is a sequence of events, big and small towns, and now it has become a pandemic in Goa. The demand is sky high. The officials are obviously totally hand in glove with the entrepreneurs or the so-called investors, and they are flouting every single rule.
Yeah.
This operation was,
and that's why we're saying that should criminal charges apply to them as well, to the officials and the lawmakers?
and we must understand that the only ones with the right to actually do anything to this or to clean it up are the officials. and the officials in turn have to be careful with what they do, because very often the owners have already dealt with the politicians. So there is a death trap in the kind of sequence of events that has happened.
Right.
And, unfortunately, only when people die do we pay attention to it for a few weeks. Then a new set of rules will be brought into place, which will be impossible for anyone to follow. And then you'll have more tragedy, bigger payouts, and more people involved in hushing up things rather than actually showing it for what it is. How can you even conceive of a nightclub on a salt pan?
Absolutely. Stay with us. We also have Mr. Atul Garg, former director, Delhi Fire Services, now joining us on the show. Thank you, Mr. Atul Garg, for taking time out to be with us. We were just talking about the Upahar fire tragedy. This traces back, years before we had the fire tragedy in Mumbai, and then of course the Upahar fire tragedy, which gets spoken about every single time there's a fire tragedy in this country. Talk to us. How far have we not come? What are the lessons that we have not learned so far? What are we continuing to fail on?
See, as per the report, the Goa pub has nothing. No fire extinguisher, no fire detector. There is no place to go fire tender. I do not know how they are running it, because they have not obtained the fire NOCs. How they got excise license, how they were allowed to build, because the restaurant to run needs so many licenses, and every authority is involved, not only the fire safety department only. Fire safety department come very last. First,
exactly. And the fire safety department, they came this time, they could not even get the fire, to get inside the premises. They had to stand 400 meters away, and that was the fire.
So it seems the whole pub is illegal, and I must say here that this company should be banned to work in Goa now. Unless we take a hard step, then we cannot stop this type of event.
Okay, my only question to you is that, as the former director of Delhi Fire Services, from your time as the director to now, how safe are, say, the pubs and clubs in Delhi?
See, I must say that Delhi is much safer place than the Goa, because Delhi there is a common platform, and when a person is applied, he cannot get any license, never the construction, for excise, for a fire, unless all authorities are joined together, because there is a common portal for all the authorities. So everybody knows their pub is opening there, so fire department will also rush there, then the building department, traffic police. The situation is much better in Delhi, number one. Number two, the construction in which the pub is allowed cannot be allowed in Delhi itself, because just construction itself is a more hazardous. It is a temporary type construction, and this cannot be allowed. In Delhi, all the pubs, other things are mainly in the 5-star hotel, in a structure building. So this club, Goa Club, it seems to be authorized from all the point of view. The point of construction, point of fire point of view, by point of land of view. It seems there is I must say there are a lot of irregularities in this pub.
Yeah, Sandesh Prabhudesai, is that pointing to the fact that there has been something going from bad to worse in Goa? That's exactly what you've been saying. That's exactly what Serafina Kota has been saying. It's been the last 5 to 10 years when things have gone from bad to worse in Goa when it comes to safety protocols.
Yes. Just before safety protocols, let me just add a thing.
And also, I add one more question to it. Is it also the influx of outsiders setting up businesses in Goa that is also an important factor in all of this?
Let me come to that also.
Okay.
Let me just read out the official figures which were released by Goa Tourism Industry and the Goa Tourism Development Corporation after pandemic, the survey which was conducted, that the A category hotels 16% are illegal, B category hotels 29% are illegal, C category hotels are 43% illegal, D category hotels are 64% illegal, villas which are built are 98% illegal, and flats and vacation homes are 100% illegal. Now this, your nightclubs, dance clubs and all are not included in this. Okay, these are just hotels where the total figure comes to 76%, and the number is 15,755. Just imagine, out of 15,000, 11,900 means almost 12,000 are illegal. Just imagine the quantum and the kitna ho raha hai ye sab. So this is basically till yesterday, till we were union territory, we were ruled by central government and we were ruled by Delhi. Even after it became a state in 87, we were ruled by Delhi, but politically. Today, what is happening is that we are economically ruled by these Delhi people, North India people. I will call them land mafia, hand in glove with the politicians and with the officers. Kuch nahi hoga, nothing will happen with just 2 or 3 officers are suspended. Nothing will happen. It is top to bottom. Everybody is involved in this, and all these illegalities are going on.
Okay.
And right now, what we are checking is just some legal establishments we are checking, which is a farce again. Please don't isolate this as an isolated case. It is just a representative case.
Definitely.
It is not an
Definitely.
isolated
Serafina Kota, then it just boils down to that one word, isn't it? One dreaded word, greed. The question here is that what exactly happened in Goa? It was a wonderful business destination. Business was going perfectly fine. Where did this extra greed come about? Which puts lives at risk. What happened?
See, now the loser is the legal businessman is the loser. When the word go around the world, what happened in Goa? Where is the safety in Goa? What is happening in case of emergency in Goa? What sort of a culture people have in Goa? We should have a health and safety culture within us, which most of the hotelier have that culture. Much before the authorities tells us what to do and what not to do, there are foreign tour operators tells us what to do and what not to do, and we automatically falls into place. So our safety are in a much higher than what the Indian government looks into it. But who will be the sufferer? Who will pay through the nose? I'll just change the topic little bit different. Many years back, there was a scarlet killing girl being raped in Goa by the beachside, and the whole British television were showing day in and day out about this. Go to see, this family was staying in an illegal residence with the mother who was not taking care of her own daughter. Of course, I'm not justifying the act, but I'm just saying where they were staying. They were staying in a place where not even a 5 paisa tax was paid to Goa. They were staying into the location where that location owner was not paying a commercial electricity,
right,
where there was not a single document stamp duty, been 5 rupees or 10 rupees stamp duty paid for the day to stay in Goa. They were staying as much as you would stay with your friend's place, and finally they become tourists, and we have to answer them as a tourist. And finally it's become Goa as a tourist destination.
Yeah.
For example, today's nightclub. Now this nightclub, where? It's in Goa. This nightclub accident happened where? In Goa. People died in Goa. So who is doing bad reputation? Goa.
Yeah.
So who has to
Dilip
pay?
Cherian, the biggest tragedy is that it is Goa's reputation that dies along with all these lives that we've just lost, isn't it, Dilip? And the rebuilding of trust will be very difficult. If the situation continues to persist, if you continue to allow entertainment venues to come about without any kind of clearance, and all because I understand that Goa also needs new businesses. It needs to provide employment to its own population. It needs to develop its own economy. But at what cost, Dilip?
The issue is less of what Goa has to do with its own economy. The Goa economy is today actually drowned by the economy of tourism, and the kind of tourism that we are talking about is unchecked, unlicensed tourism, which actually does not benefit the economy of Goa very much, except providing employment for a few people.
Yeah.
Everything else is actually the mal, as they say, is being pulled out by outsiders, and I am also very hesitant to do this outsider-insider thing, because as a country, we need to recognize that businessmen have the right to operate freely, but they need to operate within the framework of the law. The problem is that in some of these places, the law is being swamped by entrepreneurs who have the word that you used, the excess of greed and the ability to spread around the gravy train,
right,
to ensure that they can flaunt the laws.
Absolutely, and that in a sense sums up the tragedy that we're faced with today. Greed, and more greed. I'm afraid we're completely out of time over here. Atul Garg, former director, Delhi Fire Services, Dilip Cherian, founder, Perfect Relations and Image Group, Serafino Kota, former president, Small and Medium Hotels Association of Goa, and Sandesh Prabhudesai, author and senior journalist. Thank you all of you for taking time out to be with us. And with that, it's a wrap here from my side. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.
सोच रहा हूँ टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस ले लूं ताकि मेरे बाद फैमिली को पैसों की कमी ना हो।
तू भी ले ले। अबे जल्दी क्या है, बाद में देख लेंगे। आराम से। अब तक कुणाल को हार्ट अटैक आ गया यार।
पॉलिसी बाजार पर 0 GST के साथ अब 1 करोड़ का टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 400 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
पढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया।
यही मौका है बिजनेस को बढ़ाने का, पर पैसा।
अपनी सुपर पावर यूज करने का टाइम आ गया है।